Wake up in the grind, clock ticking, 20 minutes flat, freedom main-handed, knives built where the real.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of 20-Minute Freedom Project. I'm your host, Josh Lopez, and this show is for those who want ownership, discipline, freedom, and to build a life they've always wanted, one that is earned and not handed to them. And today's episode is called The Rule of 5. Now, before you think this is just another productivity hack or some kind of self-help gimmick, hear me out. Because this episode isn't about motivation, it's not about inspiration, it's not about big talk, it's about execution. And especially, it's about what to do on the days when progress feels slow, boring, and completely invisible. Because that's where most people quit. Not because they lack potential, but because they don't know how to move forward when nothing feels like it's changing. A few years ago, I was trying to build something. Doesn't matter what it was. What matters is that I was all in. I had a vision, I had a plan, and I had the motivation. For the first few weeks, I was on fire, waking up early, putting in the work, feeling like I was building momentum. But then nothing happened. No results, no validation, no progress I could see. And this is where it gets real. I started questioning everything. Is this even working? Am I wasting my time? Is it even worth it? Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. And the worst part, I didn't stop because I failed. I stopped because I didn't know what to do next. I'd had a couple wins, and I had this giant vision in my head, but I didn't have a system for the boring middle. I got all ambitious, and I forgot everything about all the systems and everything I needed to do in the middle. And if you've ever been in the middle, that's where it's the part where nothing feels like it's changing. So I drifted. I made excuses. I waited for clarity, but it never came. And eventually I just stopped. And that's the moment I learned something critical. Big goals don't fail because they're too hard or they're too big. They fail because people don't know what to do on the ordinary days. And that's exactly where the rule of 5 comes in. Most people are always looking for those big changes, the better health, the more money, the stronger relationships, more freedom. But they approach these goals in one of two broken ways. Either they overwhelm themselves with massive plans, or they wait for the perfect moment to start. They build this giant vision in their head and then do nothing. A lot of times, if you happen to be an entrepreneur, we'll have this whiteboard, and it could be nice and neatly organized, or it can be a jumbled mess of all these different ideas that we have. And what if everything goes perfect, what we could make. And that is perfect plans, because that is never how it always ends up. Plans don't go the way you wanted them to. We can have the perfect plan, but nothing is going to work out the way we planned it. Or on the other side of that, they start strong, they burn out, and go looking for the next opportunity. Because also, if you're in the entrepreneurial space, we get excited by new things. It's the new shiny object. It's not the new car, even though it might be, but it's the new opportunity. What can we do next that is shinier and potentially has more output than the thing we're doing? Because we've hit that middle and we have come up against this wall, and either we are going to go over the wall or we stop trying. And that's not because we're incapable of doing it, but because you don't have the system for daily progress. And you don't know what to do on the days that you feel ordinary. And that, again, is where the rule of 5 comes in. So you might be asking, what is the rule of 5? Maybe you've never heard of it before. And here's the concept. Every single day, you commit to 5 specific actions that directly move you towards your most important goal. Not the 10, not 50, but 5. No matter how you feel, no matter how busy you are, no matter how small those actions might seem at the moment, but 5 intentional swings of an axe. Every day, not the heroic days, faithful days. Let me be clear about this on what it is not. The rule of 5 is not busy work. It's not random tasks. It's not checking boxes to feel productive. These 5 actions must be directly connected to the outcome you want. And scrolling does not count unless it's related to one of your 5. You have to do market research. That could include scrolling, but when I refer to scrolling, it means doom scrolling. You're trying to pass the time looking for something to entertain yourself or distract you. But you cannot take that market research, for example, without action, because research without action doesn't count. And planning without execution doesn't count either. Only actions that move you towards your goal and moves the needle. And if it doesn't push your goal forward, it doesn't make the list. The rule of 5 was popularized by Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen while they were trying to get Chicken Soup for the Soul published. And the story matters because it shows exactly why the rule of 5 works. They were overwhelmed. Too many steps, too many objections, too many rejections, too many unknowns. They were doing what most people do when the path feels long, overthinking, second guessing, wondering if this is even worth it, until someone gave them a simple metaphor. If you take a sharp axe and swing it at a large tree 5 times every day, eventually, no matter how big that tree is, it will fall. Not in a week, not overnight, but eventually. So instead of obsessing over outcomes, they focus on 5 daily actions, 5 publishers contacted, 5 talks given, 5 review copies sent out. They didn't know if it would work or not. They just knew that if they kept swinging the axe, something would eventually give. And it did. That book became a hit, not because it was one heroic push, because of 5 daily actions repeated over and over and over until the tree fell. You might be thinking, why is something this simple going to work? And here's why. Your brain resists big change. Big goals trigger fear, uncertainty, and procrastination. But small, repeatable actions lower psychological resistance. This is straight behavioral psychology. Your brain learns through repetition, not intensity. Those 5 actions a day reduce your overwhelm. They create the momentum, build identity. You stop asking, will this work? And you start proving that it will. You start thinking that I am someone who shows up. And that shift is everything, because most people don't need more motivation. They need a system that they can trust when life gets difficult. The rule of 5 removes emotion from progress. It replaces hope with structure, and structure creates freedom. I have been thinking about this a lot lately. If I had understood the rule of 5 back when I was spinning my wheels, I would have saved myself years of frustration, because I kept waiting for the big breakthrough. I kept looking for the perfect strategy, the perfect moment, perfect conditions. All that waiting cost me, not because I was lazy, but because I didn't have a daily system. I was living reactively instead of deliberately. And when you live reactively, you're at the mercy of how you feel. Some days you're motivated. Some days you're just not. But the rule of 5 removes the feelings from your equation. You don't ask, do I feel like doing this today? You ask, what are my 5 actions that I have to do today? And then you do them. That's it. And that is the operator mindset. I want to paint a picture for you. Imagine this. You and a friend both have the exact same goal, same starting point, same motivation. You're both fired up. You both are starting with the exact same amount of money to start this goal, this business, or do this goal. Your friend waits for the perfect plan, the right time, the big opportunity. You commit to 5 actions a day. At first, nothing changes. No results, no validation, no excitement. You do the 5 actions day after day. Your friend keeps planning. Week 1, no difference. Week 2, still no noticeable results. And this is where most people quit. They look around and say, see, it's not working. But if you keep going, 5 actions, day in, day out, now you fast forward 6 months. Your friend is frustrated, still stuck, still planning, still waiting for conditions to be perfect. And you have momentum, skill, confidence. You see this real results, not because you're smarter, but because you were more consistent. While your friend was waiting for a big moment, you were building something real, one day at a time. And that's the difference. Or here's the real power of the rule of 5. It's not about results. It's about your identity. When you complete 5 actions every day, you stop asking, am I disciplined? Am I capable? Can I really do this? You already answered those questions with the actions. You become someone who executes daily, and identity always outpaces the motivation. Motivation fades, identity stays. Think about it. Someone who sees themselves as trying to get in shape will quit when it gets hard. We have all seen those people with those New Year's resolutions. You go to the gym and the gym is batshit crazy. You can't use a bench. You can't use a machine. You're waiting 10 minutes to do your next set because someone has hogged those machine. But then in 2 weeks, no one saw the results. It got hard. They started hurting and they quit. But you've built that identity. You're doing those 5 actions and you see yourself as someone who trains 5 days a week, at least, and doesn't negotiate. You just show up. That's the shift. You're not hoping for discipline. You're proving it every single day that you show up. And that builds momentum day after day. Every time you put a check mark next to your daily action. All right, let's make this real. Here's how the rule of 5 applies across different areas. If your goal is business, 5 outreach messages, 5 follow-ups, 5 proposals written, 5 pieces of content created, maybe 5 potential partnerships explored. If your goal is fitness, 5 sets at the gym, 5 sprint intervals, maybe 5 mobility movements, 5 clean meals planned, 5 minutes of intentional stretching. If your goal is relationships, maybe it's 5 intentional conversations, 5 check-ins with people you care about, 5 acts of service or leadership, 5 moments of presence with your phone down. Maybe it's 5 questions asked with real curiosity. Maybe your goal is faith, 5 minutes of prayer, 5 verses read and reflected on, 5 moments of gratitude written down, 5 minutes of stillfulness before the day starts, 5 decisions made with alignment in mind. Maybe it's read 5 pages in a book that you want to expand your knowledge on. Are you starting to notice anything? None of these are massive. None of them require hours, but all of them move the needle in some way. And when you stack them day after day after day, the compound effect is unstoppable. 5 actions a day doesn't seem or feel like much until you do the math. 35 actions a week, 150 actions a month, and nearly 2,000 actions a year. That's not luck. That's inevitability. The rule of 5 turns success from a hope into a math problem. And this is where we can wrap the operator and drifter into it. A drifter waits for motivation. An operator follows a system. A drifter asks, what do I feel like doing today? An operator says, what are my 5 actions? One lives emotionally and the other lives intentionally. And over time, the gap becomes massive. Drifters start strong, but then they fade. Operators start steady and then they build. And here's the thing, drifters are not bad people. They're not lazy. They're just operating without a system. And without a system, you're at the mercy of your emotions and how you feel. With a system, though, you're in control because you follow the system. Most people will not do this. Not because it doesn't work, but because it feels too simple. It doesn't feel impressive. It doesn't feel dramatic. And no one applauds consistency. People want to highlight reel, the overnight success, the big breakthrough. But that's not how real progress works. Real progress is boring. It's 5 actions a day when no one's watching. It shows up on the days when nothing feels like it's changing. It's trusting the process when you can't see the result yet. And that's really not sexy, but it's real. And simple executions done daily beats complex and stagnant and feeling-based action every time. There is a principle here that ties into faith. Faithfulness over flashiness. Scripture is full of this. The parable of the talents, the story of Joseph, David tending sheep before leading a nation. God doesn't call people to be impressive. He calls them to be faithful, and faithfulness looks like showing up day after day, even when nothing feels like it's moving. The rule of 5 is discipline rooted in the same principle. You don't control the outcome, but you control the daily actions. And if you're faithful with those, the rest takes care of itself. So here's the real question. What is the one area in your life where progress feels slow or stalled? And what are the 5 actions you could commit to start doing today? Not someday, not tomorrow, but today. You already know what they are. You're just waiting for permission. Consider this your permission slip to take action. Here's your challenge. For the next 30 days, I want you to do this. Identify your primary goal, the one thing that matters most right now. Define 5 daily actions, specific and are measurable and directly connected to the goal. Execute them no matter what. No negotiation, no excuses, no skipping because you don't feel like it. Here's the key. You're going to track it. Get a notebook, notes app on your phone, whiteboard. Every day, write down your 5 actions and check them off. Let the process work. You are not going to judge the results for 30 days. You are just going to execute every single day. And watch what happens when you take and review everything you've done for the last 30 days. As I've said so many times, people don't need more motivation. They need a system they can trust. And the rule of 5 gives you that. It removes emotion from the process. It replaces hope with structure. And structure creates freedom. Because when you know exactly what to do every single day, you stop wasting energy on doubt. You stop second guessing. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You just move. And that movement creates momentum. And momentum creates the results that you are looking for. Your big goals, those ones that scare you, don't require big days. They require faithful days. Deliberate execution, day after day. Swing after swing. The rule of 5 won't make you successful overnight. But if you stick with it, it will quietly make you dangerous because you'll become someone who executes when others stall, someone who builds when others wait, someone who finishes what they start. If this episode hit home with you, don't just nod along. Write down your 5 actions. Do them. Start today. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, freedom isn't found in intensity. It's built through consistent, disciplined action over time. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and I will catch you guys on the next one.